According to Google, a critic is somebody who judges the merits of artistic, literary, or musical works. Usually they do it professionally. And that's where I'm going to stop reading a script because I hate reading scripts and because I am on a pretty heavy time crunch. So, alright, so when I went and saw Ghostbusters Frozen Empire a couple weeks ago now, I was actually pretty scared because the reviews were saying it was awful, frankly, and some were saying that the 2016 movie was better. And I went and saw it, I was like, and it actually really did corrupt my opinion of the movie the first time I saw it, but when I saw it the second time, I was like, okay, it was actually a pretty good movie. It was pretty fun. I don't see what was so bad about it. And now, hold off. Before I get any further, everyone's entitled to their own opinions, and nobody's opinion shouldn't, intrude on anybody else's opinions. So, I'm just gonna say that now, and I know this video is gonna get probably some backlash, but go past that. Anyway, so I saw it, and like I said, I couldn't really, there were definitely flaws with it, but nobody should have been slamming it, right? And so I kind of been thinking for the past few weeks, why do we treat movies like all of them are art all of a sudden? It's not been all of a sudden, and I've got a couple of examples I'm going to bring up here. The first one being Gremlins 2, and when it came out, it was slammed. People didn't like it because it wasn't the first one. And I see this a lot with sequels, especially because it's not the same as the original. It doesn't surpass the original. And very few sequels have ever done that, like Terminator 2, and that's it. And some are only just ever consistent as the original, like Home Alone 2, right? So people always expect it to be more, but it almost never is. And so why do we still hold those expectations when we know that they're not going to be, fulfilled? So anyway, Gremlins 2 bombed at the box office. Then now, if you look at the Gremlins fan base, a lot of people actually prefer the second movie. Like, a lot of people love the second movie. And it's because it's a fun time. I mean, it might not be, a critically acclaimed masterpiece. It might not have, complex character relationships or anything, or, deep meaning, but it's fun, right? When did movies stop being allowed to be fun, right? Because, Barbie, that came out last summer, it had good themes, but it was Barbie. Like, why couldn't it just be fun, right? That's what I wanted to go see when I saw Barbie. I just wanted to go see a fun movie, right? You go to the movies, and it's like all of a sudden you expected it to be, some kind of art display at like a museum, right? And I don't know. I can't provide really an answer for you guys, but it's like, everybody expects it to be like the next Oppenheimer or Space Odyssey or Citizen Kane or something, right? I just don't think that film should be put up on a pedestal and compared to each other like that. And especially certain types of films, because not every film is made with that goal in mind. Not every film is made to be the next Oppenheimer or the next Citizen Kane. So, another example I'd like to bring up is The Lone Ranger from 2013. Now, that was riding off of the success of Pirates of the Caribbean, and they wanted to take and do that with the Lone Ranger property that they had. And that's probably actually my favorite movie. Probably. I say that because my list is like constantly shifting. But So that movie had such a level of craft and attention and work put into it. I mean, building, 5 miles of railroad out in the desert, and building, locomotives and rolling stock, all that. And then, of course, all the other set work and stunts and all that. And people, people hated it. I mean, people trashed on it, said it was like the worst movie they ever saw. It was the biggest box office flop in Disney history up until what. I don't even know what the newest one was. It was like Tron or something. I don't know. Tron, like, I don't know. Whatever it ended up being, right? And so people hated it, right? And it's insulting to the people who make the movies, and the not just the people who write the scripts, guys, and produce and direct, right? It's the people who make the sets, set designers, prop makers, stunt actors, all the people who put so much time, work, risking their lives, all that into movies and whatnot, and it really sucks, right? To have all that taken and trash on by the public, right? So, and I got to see this firsthand. I mean, I feel like some people just don't even know what goes into making a movie, and this is where this video is going. So here we go. When I went, because I had gone, I talk about this a lot. It's like my biggest thing I've ever done. I went to New York, and I actually got to see them film a little bit of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, of course not by invite, because I live close to New York, and I knew where they were filming. But I went and I saw them filming for a day, and I got to see them set up like 3 or 4 different shots, and people just don't appreciate how long it takes to set up even the littlest of shots. Like, there's one shot in the movie of just a line of taxis, there's a couple of taxis and other cars, and it's just traffic. I mean, that took probably a solid half hour to an hour to set up just to get those cars lined up. I mean, and we just sat there and watched them, right? Because they park them in one position, and then they're like, nah, we're not gonna, that doesn't look good, and then they back them all out, and then they gotta reposition them. But people don't really appreciate how much work goes into just one little shot. And the crazy thing is, that was the only shot I saw that day to be filmed out of the 4 that made it into the movie. And I don't think they shot any of the scenes that they shot the day before, because they were filming in one block, or one neighborhood. And they did it for 2 days. And that was the only shot, I think, from those 2 days that actually made it into the movie. So, I mean, they spent 2 days on that block, and they only used one shot. So, and then there's, of course, all the other deleted scenes that had all that time and work put into them, and that's not just for Frozen Empire, that's for all movies, right? The whole deleted storylines, all that kind of stuff. It all sucks, right? And it really gives you a newfound appreciation for movies. So, why am I talking about how long it takes to set up a shot of taxis? Because everybody's a film critic now, all of a sudden. And of course, you can have your opinions about movies that you went and saw, right? But it's like everybody's, saying, oh, the plot was super weak. And this is about no film in particular, of course. The CGI looks awful. And, stuff like that. The music was bad. Stuff like that, right? And it's like, you guys don't know what goes into making these. This isn't meant to be some kind of art, or well, I mean, film as a whole is an art, but it's not meant to be, like Citizen Kane, of course. I'll just keep using that as an example, or your Space Odyssey, or something Stanley Kubrick, right? So it's like how you have, abstract art and you have, Van Gogh, right? If that's who I'm even thinking of, right? So, you have two different types of art, but you don't really compare them to each other because you appreciate them as two different things, right? I hope I'm explaining this okay, and it's not sounding like a mess, but because I know it is, but I hope it's somewhat understandable. Everybody is suddenly this film critic, right? And I mean, of course, there's apps like Letterbox, and you can review it on your Instagram or whatever, like I used to do. But it's like those people, because it's the word of mouth that really helps kind of get the people to go see the movies. But when you say things like, "Oh, the animation looks terrible," about a movie like Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, who tries to replicate the 1980s animation by using physical props and whatnot, and it really takes away from people going to see the movie, right? So because it's people who don't know what they're talking about, and it sucks, it really sucks, because Godzilla versus Kong just came out, and there's people who don't like it, but from what I hear, everyone's treating it as exactly as they should, as a spectacle movie, and that's it, as a fun time at the movies, nothing more. Why can't Ghostbusters get the same treatment? I don't know. This, I'm trying not to make this video all about Ghostbusters, but it's what got me thinking about this whole thing. So, but I think that's most everything I wanted to mention. But yeah, everybody wants to be a critic, and some of these critics, also actual critics, who are actually doing their job, are also ruining how people go and see the movies, because they're you know comparing Van Gogh with abstract art, and they don't go together. So, and I'm not talking about abstract art as I'm just using it as an example. I'm not talking about abstract concept movies like A24 kind of stuff. I'm talking about like just like spectacle, fun, Despicable Me 4 kind of movies, right? So yeah. I hope I made sense in this video. I know it was definitely kind of out of my yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed. And I hope you guys can find some agreements in that. And because I have heard people express the same thoughts as me, and it really does suck, especially after you see all these people, how many people just have to be on set to set up a shot of a line of cars. I mean, it's crazy. Seriously, guys, watch the credits of the next movie that you see how many people work on these movies, and see how many people that just like ruin their day by putting out your review of whatever movie you saw and saying that was trash, right? So anyway, yeah, thank you for watching. Please don't bombard my comments with you suck, you have no idea what you're talking about, you're a stupid teenager, you can't even be talking. I can talk, I have vocal cords. Goodbye.